Hello, welcome to It's All About the Yarn Knitting Podcast. My name is Kate and I'm coming to you from southeastern Idaho in the northwest part of the United States where it's cloudy outside. We're having a January thaw, so everything's melting and it's muddy and kind of yucky out. But today I'm going to kind of try and catch up with some things. First off, let me say I can be found on social media under the name Kate Spins on Ravelry and on Instagram. If you want to find me there, I'll have links to that in the show notes, of course. I welcome anyone who's been here before. I welcome you back. And if I have any new viewers, welcome. This podcast is all about my knitting practice, my spinning, my weaving, my art making, a little bit of everything, but mostly knitting. So today, let's just dive in. I haven't podcasted for quite some time. I did a podcast about a month after I went to Rhinebeck, and it apparently recorded without any sound. And I had put everything away and I just didn't feel like dragging it out. And then life got busy and crazy, and this is the first time I've been able to come back. So happy to be here, and let me tell you about all what's going on in my knitting world. First of all, finished objects. Okay, what I'm wearing is my ranunculus. Let's stand up so you can see it. So typical ranunculus. This one is made out of hand spun yarn that I spun years ago, but I'm not even sure on the content. I think it's kind of merino, some silk, some angora, a bunch of other things in it. But I knit size 1. Now I didn't want it to be really oversized, so that's why I chose that size. And then when I did the sleeves, I didn't do the balloon sleeves. I wanted them to just taper, just fit like a normal size sweater. So I just did a few decreases in the sleeve to make the stitch count go down, and it was a lot of fun. I did it with the knit along, and 2 of the other ladies in my town, we did them together, so that was kind of fun. Love the sweater. The second project I have is the sweater I made for Rhinebeck. So let me just slip it on. It's kind of hard to do this gracefully, but the second piece is the Corran Cardigan by Rebecca Clow of Creabiat Knitting Podcast. She's a designer and designed this sweater, and when I went to Rhinebeck, I didn't know if it was going to be hot or cold, so I made a compromise and made a holy sweater. Okay, it's an all-over lace pattern. Let me get it on. Boy, I should have wore this one first. But basically, it's just a piece of cardigan, and it worked well for Rhinebeck. It was warm enough, and it didn't get too hot. So let me just button her up, and then I will stand up and let you see her. If I could just get it buttoned. Alrighty. So the only thing is I used Pearl Soho's yarn that's called knitting yarn. That's actually the name of it, which I think is quite humorous. But in the colorway Hydro Blue, I think I made size 3, but I am not exactly sure. I'll put that in the show notes, what size I made. And my chair, so I got to go back very much further. But it's just a lacy pattern all over, and very comfortable, very easy knit. Worked great for my trip, and really like it. I just didn't like the yarn pills so much. So I have one more finished object. Let me grab it. And these were from an Advent. This is the sock from Woolens and Nosh. It's their Advent. It was supposed to be based on the winter solstice, so it starts out dark, it goes to light, and then goes to dark again. There was a gray mini to do the heels and toes, and that was a really fun project for me. So I really enjoyed making those. As to works in progress, unfortunately, I have a lot of them, as with most knitters, but let's start with the easiest one to find. And that is the curry and poncho, which I thought I had the pattern here, but it doesn't look like I do. But I'll put links to it. So far, we don't have a lot to show. This is just the neck. Looks kind of small, doesn't it? But it does stretch over my head. I did check that. It's going to be lovely. I am using Pearl Soho's silk mohair, and this red is from Blue Savannah, and I will put the colorways in the show notes. I know one's cherry cordial and one is red currant or something. I don't remember which one is which, but it's heavenly to knit with, because that is the silk mohair, and then the other yarn is merino, cashmere, and nylon. And so it's just, I'm loving working on it. Hopefully it will look like something much bigger the next podcast that I do. Another project that I'm working on, it's for a gift, and it is called, of course I'm brain dead, I forgot what it's called, the finger paint cardigan, not cardigan, sweater. It's a kid's sweater. Here it is. I'm just separated for the sleeves, so it kind of looks cattywampus here. But basically you have these three colors. Starts with the green and the ribbing, and the main body is just going to be the blue and white, and then the sleeves are going to be this green and white, but with much smaller stripes. And that yarn is from Knit Picks. It is called, I think I wrote it down, but of course sometimes reading your notes fast. Here we go. The yarn is called Heatherly, and it is the sport weight yarn. It has 528 yards, and I'm using the colorway Cabana, which was the blue. It is 80% acrylic, 20% merino, and the white is called Snowflake, and the green is called Key Lime. But that's for a friend who's having a baby, so I'm gonna get that quick. So that's number 2. Let's see. Where is number 3? Number 3. I'm looking for the bag it's in, but of course, I can't seem to find it. Okay, we'll go on to number 4. Because, right here it is. It's in my Doctor Who bag. Number 3 is another Sophie scarf. I've made 3 of these. I really love them. We love knitting them, love making them. And so I've started doing the decreases, so it's going to be about that long. This time I decided I would put markers at every time I did an increase, so that it would be really easy when I have to stop, so I could count them. So that's worked out pretty well. I'm knitting it in, I don't have the label for this anymore, but I do know it's, what is it called? Undercover Otter is the one that made this. It's some colorways from a failed Stephen West sweater that I took, shawl that I took apart, and so now I'm using the yarn. The mohair that I'm using, silk mohair that I'm using, is space dyed. You can see some of the colors right there. It is called Spun Right Around. Mohair silk, 455 yards, 75, 25. And it is called Pack, the colorway is called Pack Your Maniac. But that's coming out quite nice. So this is another thing. Give me silk more. Give me any kind of silk, and I love knitting it, spinning it, weaving with it, whatever. So that's project whip number 3. And whip number 4 is a result of an idea of mine. Is after doing these socks, we were doing a stripe a day, and I thought, I could do that all year. I could make a pair of socks every month by just doing a stripe of a day. Have I followed my own rules or not necessarily? But I decided to call it 12 and 24, and I bagged up 12 different sock projects that I could do over the year, and then I started working on all these other things. So I didn't even finish. I'm not even going to finish January's. But this is Earth Tones Girl colorway Falling in Love. And so I had the sock done, but then I realized that it was just a little bit too big. I had lost some weight, and it's kind of interesting that my feet are smaller now. So I had to take the toe out and redo it, and I've got the other sock to make. So I'm a little bit behind already, but that's okay. It's all, I think you can make these grandiose plans and change them. And if they don't work out, no problem. You can change your mind. For February, I had planned making the Agatha sock by Corinne Tomlinson, the lady who owns the Woolly Thistle. So there's the pattern. It's just kind of a textured pattern, textured stitch. And February seems purple to me. So this is the Woolly Thistle's own yarn, own sock yarn. It's called Rambler. And I got this when I was at Rhinebeck. I knew they were going to have their yarn in one of the shops, so I made sure to stop by because I wanted to see what it felt like. It's not soft like merino, it's a rustic yarn, but I think it's going to make up some really nice socks. I think this will give good stitch definition for all those stitches. It is 80% Dorset, 10% Corriedale, 10% Gray Romney, 425 yards, 100 grams. In the colorway Lupin or Lupine, however you like to say that. So that's going to be February sock. So I do have some catching up to do, but at least I'll start it in February. That's for sure. So. And believe it or not, I had up enough sock yarn and ideas for the socks to do a lot more than 12. But I'm limited by my ability to complete things. And for some future things, I sat at the end of the year and thought, what sweaters do I want to make? I always think way beyond what my capability is. So I nailed it down and I picked 4 sweaters. And one of them is called the Winterfell cardigan. Okay, so here's the pattern. That's what it looks like. There's these little diagonal lines. But other than that, basic, very simple pattern. And I got this yarn. I don't know if it was at Rhinebeck or Woolen Folk, one of the festivals I was at. It is by Neighborhood Fiber Company. And the colorway is, where's the colorway? It's called Remington. It's a beautiful shade of purple. Beautiful shade of purple. Let's see what else I can tell you about the yarn. It's 80% organic merino, 10% cashmere, 10% silk. 375 yards per 4 ounces. So I have started a swatch in it, but then, all my other whips took over. So that's sort of what it looks like knit up. It's just, just a nice stockinette swatch. So of all these sweaters I'm going to talk about, I need to do a gauge swatch for everything before I can do anything. So that's the Winterfell cardigan. And then next down the list is the Sheep Camp sweater by Jennifer Berg. And this is what it looks like. You may have seen it over the internet. Lots of people have made it. But I decided to pick these two colors. This is going to be the main sweater. These will be, the color work will be out of this. And this is in here, in other words, to do a swatch, which I haven't done yet. This is a Silomar DK, 260 yards, 100 grams. It's 100% British Polldale. It is from Sea Change Fibers from Santa Cruz, California. And the colorway is Kolsch. It's like Kolsch. I don't know how that's pronounced. But that's for the Sheep Camp. So those two sweaters are part of it. Let's see, what else did I bring? I brought, I was going to bring all four, but I think I've only bought 3. Actually, I am sitting in my art room, and so usually all the knitting stuff isn't in here. But this is something I fell in love with during Black Friday or something like that. I thought, oh, I have got to have this. So let me find the best picture of it. Oh, there's the back. There's the back of it. It's called Dark Academy. It is an all-over colorwork sweater. The yarn is from Murky Depths. We have a shop on Etsy. I'll show you the yarn in just a second. Let's see if I can get. The design is by Sharon Hartley. And there is this picture of the sweater. It just really, really grabbed me. I thought this thing is so gorgeous, I have to have it. So I put it in my India Untangled bag that I got when I went to their festival. And it's big, so it holds the sweater quantity, so it won't be a problem. So the colorway, they're just basically 2 colors. This is very light green, and then this color. She sold it as a kit, so it is available in her Etsy shop. It's okay. Okay, the color of the light green is, it's called Never Enough Time. Time being spelled like the spice. And it is the deep sock base, and it is 80% superwash, 20% nylon, 400 yards for 100 grams. And the dark green one, which is very, I don't want to say variegated, but very layered in the colors of it. Yeah, it's very rich. Its color is No More Shall We Part. And the same information about that. So that I'm going to work my way into. I was going to start working on it right away, but then I thought I need to work myself into that. So that's a future project. And let's see, what else do I have? What else do I have here? I don't have the 4th sweater, which I'm surprised I didn't bring it, but apparently it is not in the bowels of anything here. So let's talk about some future things. I saw this pattern on the internet this weekend and fell in love with it. It was on Piece to Piece Crafting's website. Michael was knitting it for a friend, but it's a vest. And this is a very long armhole, and then it has button placket on the side. There's another view of what this vest looks like. And I'm thinking of maybe knitting it in Nudidin, but I'm going to need to get some silk mohair to go with it, which leads me to the other future thing I have, okay? I've been collecting Nudidin since 2020. And I have quite a stash. And I've only made one thing out of it. And so this basket, look at this beautiful basket. It is full of all the different colors that I have. So the all wound, 2 strands. I have I'm going to just sit here one weekend and figure out which sweater I'm going to do with which thing. Some of these I don't have enough for a sweater, but I've been wanting to do a fade. So I kind of like have this beautiful blue. This is beautiful blue, and this one's a little more green. And this one's turquoise, and that would all look lovely together. Throw the beige in there. I don't know. So it's just like the more you play and you go, oh, no, this green doesn't go with this bunch at all, but it goes with another one. So it's just all these lovely balls, putting them together. So this has been it's going to be quite fun to really decide what I'm going to do. You know, at one point I was going to do a red sweater and then put all these oranges in the color work, or another time I was going to, where's the blue? I've got a dark blue here somewhere. I was going to do the maroon all by itself. For some reason, the color I'm looking at seems to have gone on walkabout, because I know, no, here it is. I thought I'd use this blue, maybe with the oranges. I've got 4 different shades, I think. You know, some kind of color work, maybe use the red. There's just so many choices. Which one do I want to do? You know, so I haven't made that decision yet, but it was fun winding these all into balls to do some sampling with. And so I think it's going to be a blast. I really like this one. This one's got a lot of pink, a lot of lavender in it. I do not remember what the color names are. They're all in Swedish. So yeah, when I first bought the first couple things, I knew, but at one point I just didn't know anymore. Let's see, there's one other thing I was going to share, and that was spinning. And that was this cool little thing that I got as a gift. Look at that. Isn't that great? It is BFL, Blueface Luster, and that is called 3 Feet of Sheep by Fabulous Fibers. It's called the Tourmaline Collection. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to spin it yet, but I think that's going to happen fairly soon, because it feels like, so I got these lengths. They're probably all a foot, or that might be more than 12 inches. I don't know. But anyways, it's kind of fun. Spinning stuff is kind of fun. I was going to add some art stuff this time, but my phone is about ready to die. So, what was I going to say? Just make sure to check the show notes at the bottom, because everything I've forgotten, the color names and stuff like that, I will put down there. Plus any of the pattern links and so forth. And if you found this content interesting, please hit the subscribe button so you know the next time I record a podcast. Who knows when that's going to be? Hopefully much more frequent than the last one has been. And until then, happy knitting and have a great day.